Warning: the following program contains flashing imagery and content which may be considered harmful or traumatizing to some. Viewer discretion is extremely advised. Welcome to the darkest depths. Anna Bachmeier had her first child at the age of 16 in 1966, but gave it up for adoption as an infant, as she decided she wasn't ready to raise children yet. But by the age of 18, she was pregnant again by her then boyfriend, and decided to keep it. Unfortunately, just weeks before the birth of her daughter, she was savagely raped, and decided to give her second child up for adoption as well. Marianne opened a pub in the city of Lubeck in the early 1970s that thrived and made her enough money to afford a good living. But for years, the children that she gave up rested on her mind, and when she got pregnant with her third child in 1973, she was determined to raise it by herself and named the beautiful little girl Anna. After Anna was born, Marianne had a tubal ligation operation, sterilizing her body and making Anna the only daughter that she would ever have naturally. So she cherished little Anna with every ounce of her soul. Soon the chore of running a bar and single parenting took over Marianne's life. And as the years rolled by, little Anna developed into a bright and loving child. By the age of 7, she was a happy and open-minded little girl who had many friends at her school and was loved by all. But all of that would change on May 5th, 1980. Marianne and Anna had an argument that day, and Anna decided that she would skip school. When her daughter didn't arrive home as usual at the end of the school day, Marianne frantically went to the police, who told her that her child would turn up eventually. And little Anna did turn up eventually, in one of the worst ways imaginable. A cardboard box was found on the bank of the canal near their home later that night. Inside were the mangled remains of little Anna Bachmeier. As Marianne mourned in anguish over the loss of her only daughter, police launched their investigation, and it wasn't long before a tip came in that revealed the identity of Anna's killer. The girlfriend of a local butcher named Klaus Grabowski had a horrific story to tell. Klaus was already a convicted sex offender and had been previously sentenced for the sexual abuse of 2 young girls. In 1976, he voluntarily submitted to chemical castration, though it was later revealed that he underwent hormone treatment to try to reverse the effects. On the night of May 5th, Klaus had run into little Anna Bachmeier and abducted her, bringing her back to his apartment. There he held the little girl against her will for hours, before sexually assaulting her and strangling her to death with a pair of his girlfriend's tights. He then tied Anna up, packed her in a box, and dumped her in the canal like trash. When questioned by police, Klaus gave a strange and disturbing story. He said that Anna was trying to blackmail him, that the 7-year-old was trying to seduce him, and had threatened to tell her mother that he had molested her if he didn't give her money. So he had no choice but to kill her, because of the extortion. During Klaus Grabowski's trial for Anna's murder, her mother Marianne sat through hours of testimony and hearings, where Klaus's ridiculous story of blackmail was repeated over and over by his defense team, who also claimed that he may have murdered because of a hormonal imbalance. It made Marianne's blood boil, and on the 3rd day of the trial, she decided that she had had enough. She showed up that day to court just as beautiful as ever. When no one expected it, she calmly got up from her seat at the proceedings, pulled a .22 caliber Beretta pistol from her purse, and pulled the trigger 8 times, calling her daughter's murderer a pig as he slumped to the ground, and everyone else in the room panicked. 7 of those bullets hit Klaus Grabowski in the back, and he died on the courtroom floor. The mother of Anna Bachmeier was then on trial for murder herself. During her trial, Marianne testified that she shot Grabowski in a dream and saw visions of her dead daughter in the courtroom. A doctor who examined her said that Marianne was asked for a handwriting sample, and in response she wrote, "I did it for you, Anna." She then decorated the sample with 7 hearts, perhaps one for each year of Anna's life. The court ultimately convicted Marianne Bachmeier of premeditated manslaughter and sentenced her to 6 years behind bars in 1983, where she was released early for good behavior in 1985. She died from pancreatic cancer in September of 1996 at the age of 46, and she was buried next to her beloved daughter, Anna.
Thank you for watching Darkest Depths. Follow on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok for the absolute worst that humanity has to offer in true crime and horror. Merchandise available through teespring.com. Episode requests made through darkestdepthstruecrime@gmail.com.